Hello, everybody. It is Mike. It is Saturday. That means it's time, or it is Friday. That means it's time for my First Watch Friday review. This week I am reviewing the 1981 creature feature called The Boogens. The Boogens is directed by James Conway and it stars Rebecca Balding as Trish, Fred McCarran as Mark, Anne-Marie Martin as Jessica, and Jeff Harden as Roger. We also have John Crawford, Med Flory, John Lormer, and Scott Wilkinson. All of these people have gone on to do other things, particularly the lead girl, Rebecca Balding. She was in tons of TV, still relatively active. But Anne-Marie Martin, you would from the Boogens, you would recognize her from the original Prom Night. She played Wendy, the bitchy girl, who ends up getting axed in the beautiful red prom dress with all the sparkles and everything. So this little creature feature, it's a fun little romp. It's nothing too terribly. How do I say it? I mean, there's some tension in it, but it's not one of those creature features that are just boom, boom, boom. This takes a little bit. Now, there is a girl at the beginning. Let me kind of set up the premise of the movie. So we have this little town outside of Denver, and this particular little town is the place where there was a silver mine at one time. But there was some kind of horrible massacre that happened, so the military came in and they shut that mine down. They closed all the entrances off. There was no getting into it. Well, somebody decided to reopen the mines to go in to see if there was still silver in there. So we have these weird little mine tunnels that go all over the place, including underneath this house. And we start out with a girl named Martha who is at the house, and she is just doing her thing and getting ready for bed and all that good stuff. And she hears noises from the basement, so she goes down. She checks it out. She doesn't really. There's nothing down there, but there are noises. So she's trying to figure out what it is, and she goes into the different parts of the basement. And it's creepy and full of stuff, and she finds this big entrance, basically like a hole, but it's square, and it's kind of covered in some wood, but not really. So she's like, So she goes back upstairs, and then you see whatever it is coming back up the stairs to find her, and you don't really see them in this scene. Basically, she just screams and falls on the floor, and someone grabs her legs and pulls her out of camera range, and you hear her scream. So that was the first thing. So then we have our next batch of victims, which are two girls that are good friends and their boyfriends that are actually working there in the town. So the girls go up to visit them, that being Trish and Jessica. And the boyfriends are, Trisha's boyfriend's name is Mark. They're not really boyfriend and girlfriend to start out, but they have a little, little fun. So then they are boyfriend and girlfriend. Yeah. And then Jessica's boyfriend is Roger. And they have a little dog. He's cute as a bug. A little poofy, poodly kind of dog. And then we have the sheriff, and we have another cop, and then we have two other guys that work in these mines, and we also have this old man. So those are the main characters. So weird things start happening, and it's basically after the mine opens, and the old man's kind of got a feeling that things aren't right. You've opened that mine up. We find out that old man's father was actually in the caves during that massacre and survived, and told the story about these awful monsters that were in the mine's belly that killed all these guys, and they put him in a loony bin because they didn't believe him. But this, his son believed him. So the kids are all there and they're having a good time, and not much is happening. But the dog is going nuts because he hears the Boogens down in the basement. So we haven't seen the Boogens yet, and when you finally do see the Boogens, it's with. You don't even see it with Roger during his attack scene, but you do see them finally with Jessica, and they're kind of like like a turtle that's been morphed into something else. I mean, they're fast and they've got like hooks and claws and lots of teeth, but they were, I don't know. They were cute. They weren't frightening. But it's a monster movie, so we just kind of go with the flow. So we have Roger, and then we have Jessica, and then the poor puppy. Actually, the poor puppy is before Jessica. Jessica's in the shower, and the dog is barking and carrying on, and one of the Boogens gets in through a floor grate. And it pisses me off when they kill animals in movies, but I understand. So the the old man is down in the mine and trying to figure out what the heck is going on. And the sheriff is down there. The two guys that are mining are down there, and the Boogens figures it out and comes after him. And then you have the climax of the movie is when Mark figures out that something is going on, that there's something, he believes that old man, that there was some kind of monster. And then Mark is in the cave when those guys get attacked, so he takes off to save Trish and Jessica because they're supposed to be at the house. But Trish had other stuff to do, so she got to the house late. She finds Jessica. She doesn't find Jessica, she finds a bunch of blood, and then there's like a trail of blood that leads her down to the basement. She goes down to the basement like a moron. What the hell? Why would you do that? Anyway, she does it. And sure enough, Pretty Boy shows up, and they start, the Boogens show up, and they start attacking her. Mark comes to save the day, but he doesn't. And so one of the cops is right behind Mark, and he comes and he shoots the Boogen. It doesn't kill it. It just plays dead until the cop gets close enough, and then. So then during the scuffle, some kind of gas line is broke. So Mark and Trish run through the tunnel that's in the basement, and they head for the mine itself to get out through the main entrance. And there's an explosion, but there's lots of Boogens. It's not just that one. So they're running through the mine shaft. They run into the lead foreman of the mining company that was mining for silver. He's still alive. And then one of the Boogens drops out from the ceiling of whatever and kind of blocks Mark and Trish's run through, but they finally do escape. So the big climax is when, at the end, when everything is resolved. So, fun movie. Is it a great movie? No. Is it a bad movie? No. It's just a fun little creature feature. It was fun to watch. It kept me interested. I enjoyed the fact that they put a little effort into developing these characters, so you kind of cared about pretty much all of them. That is the Boogens. 1981. It's only about an hour and a half, so it's not a huge investment in time. But yeah, this would stay on my shelf. I'd give it probably a B minus. And I will definitely watch it again. If anything, for her, I loved her in Prom Night, and I liked her in this. I wish she'd be in a horror movie where she survived. But yeah, good movie. So that's my First Watch Friday review for this week. Guys, take care, stay safe, and enjoy your weekend.